Hey guys, I hope you have a great day. Well, we can't be there today, but we're going to go ahead and keep going. So today we're just going to be learning about how to change decimals to fractions. So a couple days ago we did fractions to decimals. Now we're going to do decimals to fractions. So I need you to go ahead and get your math binder out and flip to the next blank page behind chapter 2. And that's where you're going to copy down this really short anchor chart. So go ahead and pause the video and get out your math binder and copy this down. And then when you have it all copied down, go ahead and come back and press play and we'll go ahead and discuss it. Okay, hopefully you have that down and you have now came back. So the I can statement for today is I can convert decimals to fractions by using my place value skills. So this is really an easy skill if you know how to read decimals using place value like we've been practicing in class lately. So we're going to start with our two examples. And I think I've got my pen here. No, I don't. Here, let's see if I can get it. It won't let me. I don't know why, but it won't let me. Okay, so we'll just go ahead and keep working on it then. So we have 0 and 3/10. So that's our first example, and we want to change it. So if I just read that out loud, literally, I just read the decimal 0 and 3/10 because the 3 is in the tenths place. Then it would be 0 is my whole number, so I don't need a whole number there. And then 3 over 10 because the 3 is in my tenths place, and it's just exactly how I read it. 0 and 3/10 equals 3/10. So step 1 is use place value and read the decimal to make it a fraction. So I wrote it all out here just for you, just to make sure that you understood exactly what I was talking about. There's also a little trick that I wanted to make sure that you knew about. So let's say place value is kind of a hard thing for you, or you didn't really grasp it very good last year. That's okay. There's a trick. I'm going to show you the trick. So if you look at this 0 and 3/10, if you drop down underneath the decimal point, right underneath it a 1, and then you fill in with however many numbers you have with 0, then that's your place value. So since I have a decimal point, I drop down the 1, and I have one digit behind the decimal point, so I'm going to have 1 0. So that tells me that that 3 is in the tenths place. So that's the easy little trick. So let's look at this one. We have 2 and 75 hundredths. So I could either read it and say it's 2 and 75 100ths. So it'd be 2 and 75 over 100. Or I can use that little trick that I just showed you where I would do 2 and I would drop down the decimal point the 1 right underneath the decimal point, and then fill in with zeros for however many digits I have behind my decimal. And that tells me what my denominator is going to be. So I could do it either way. Either way, I'm going to get the same answer. But our step 2, we got to make sure we do our step 2. Step 2 is always simplify your fraction. So you always have to make sure that you're simplifying your fraction to its lowest form. So since I got 2 and 75 over 100, I can reduce that by its greatest common factor. I could reduce 75 over 100 or simplify it by using the factor of 5 because 5 goes into 75 and 5 goes into 100. But I would have to keep simplifying over and over until I had the lowest form. But for this one, since I'm using benchmark fractions is what they're called, because I have 75 and 100, that's like whenever you're talking about like quarters out of a dollar. So 25, 50, 75, a dollar, or 25 cents, 50 cents, 75 cents, a whole. So since I know that I'm using those benchmark fractions, I can simplify by dividing by 25 and dividing by 25. 25 goes into 75 3 times, and 25 goes into 100 4 times. So my simplified fraction is 2 because I need to keep my whole number the same, and 3/4. So I hope you understood that. If you didn't, remember to pause, go back, rewatch whatever you need to rewatch. I'm going to go ahead and just do a really quick overview of it before I get off here. So the first thing I want to make sure you know is step 1. You can either do one of two things. You can use place value and just read the decimal. So 0 and 3/10, I know that's going to be 3 over 10. Or 2 and 75 100ths. So I know that's going to be 2 and 75 over 100. Or I can use that little trick that I showed you where I drop a 1 down underneath the decimal point and then fill in with zeros to figure out what my place value is, and that's going to be my new denominator. Step 2, always simplify. Always, always, always simplify. Just to go ahead and remind you before I get off of here, remember there are some ways to check our answers on the calculator for this. So if I were to put in 0 and 3/10 equals, and then I can press that fraction to decimal button on my calculator, and that's going to give me 3/10. Always remember to press simplify, enter until the two numbers match on both sides of the screen. That way you're sure that you're getting the correct simplified fraction. Remember, this is just to check your work to make sure you're doing the right thing. You need to still make sure you know how you're doing the math. And we'll check it over whenever we do our testing. So I think that's it. I hope you guys have a great day. You do have a Think Central or Go Math assignment over this. And then also the sub will pass out your checklist for the rest of the class period. So make sure you're doing your work and make sure you're being good. I want a great note whenever I come back because that would be amazing. Okay, I'll see you later. Have a good day. Bye. I don't know if this stopped. I don't know if I'm still on or not. It won't stop. I think maybe I'm stuck. I sure hope that all recorded. This won't let me do anything at all. Yikes! I think you're still here. Okay, sorry about that. Bye now.